Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to introduce to all of you His Excellency Yukio Edano, Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan. Minister Edano is a Japanese politician of the Democratic Party of Japan, DPJ. And Edano-san was appointed minister on September 12 this year. He's a lawyer by background. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Minister Edano.
Thank you for your introduction. Let me introduce myself formally once again. I am Edano, Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan.
本日は ASEAN ビジネス投資サミットにお招きをいただき、心より御礼申し上げます。まずは ASEAN 各国のビジネス界から我が国にいただいた多大な震災復興支援にこの場を借りをし御礼を申し上げます。またタイの大洪水で被害を受けられた皆様に心よりお見舞いを申し上げます。
First of all, I would like to express my deep thanks for inviting me today to this ASEAN Business Investment Summit. And first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude for the generous support from the business community of the ASEAN countries for reconstruction in Japan from the great earthquake that we suffered. And also, I wish to extend my sincere sympathies to those who are suffering from the great flood in Thailand.
こうした災害で明らかになったように、今や我が国と ASEAN の経済はサプライチェーンの拡大や進化を通じて一体化をしています。ASEAN の成長、日本の成長につなげ、共に発展をしていくべく、私から今後の日本と ASEAN 経済関係強化の3つの柱を提唱したいと思います。
It has become clear from these disasters that today the economies of Japan and the ASEAN countries have become integrated through the expansion and deepening of our supply chain. And in order that we can link the growth in ASEAN with growth in Japan and develop together, today I wish to propose 3 pillars for further strengthening economic relations between Japan and ASEAN.
1つ目の柱は東アジアにおける経済連携の強化です。アジアにおいて経済統合を加速化し、高い経済成長を持続させていくためには、人、物、金、情報の流れをさらに活発にしていく必要があります。2020年までのアジア太平洋自由経済圏 FTAP 実現に向け、TPP や ASEAN を中心とする広域的経済連携の強化が重要であります。この度、日本政府として TPP 交渉参加に向けて関係国との協議に入ることとしたのも、こうした考え方、こうした確信を持っているからであります。
The first pillar that I would like to propose is the strengthening of economic partnership in East Asia. If we are to accelerate economic integration in Asia and sustain the high level of economic growth in this region, we need to have even more active flow of people, goods, capital, and information in this region. And in order to realize a free trade area of Asia Pacific by the year 2020, it is important that we pursue the TPP and strengthen ASEAN-centered regional economic integration. It is based on this conviction that the government of Japan has decided to enter into consultations with relevant countries for joining the TPP negotiations.
今般の首脳会合では、我が国は ASEAN に加え、日本、中国、インドなどを含めた東アジアの広域的経済連携について、早期の交渉に向けて検討を加速化することを提案しております。引き続き産業界の皆様と協力しつつ、東アジアの経済統合を推進してまいりたいと思います。
At this East Asian Summit meeting process, Japan is proposing to speed up our consideration for entering into negotiations in the near term for a regional economic integration in East Asia that includes not only the ASEAN countries, but also Japan, China, India, and others. And we intend to continue to cooperate with all of you from the business community to promote economic integration in East Asia.
2つ目の柱は連結性の強化です。我が国はエリアが策定した東アジア総合開発計画のもと、すでにインドネシアやメコン、インドなどの地域でインフラ整備の支援を開始をしています。引き続きハード、ソフトのインフラを効果的に組み合わせ、各国のニーズに合わせた支援を行ってまいります。この一環として新たに2つの取り組みをご紹介させていただきたいと思います。
The second pillar is strengthening connectivity. Under the comprehensive Asian Development Plan that has been formulated by AREA, the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia, Japan has already started our support for infrastructure development in Indonesia and the Mekong region, India, and other regions. And we will continue to extend support that meets the needs of each country by effectively combining hard and soft infrastructure. And as a part of that endeavor, let me introduce to you today two new programs.
一つは多大な需要が見込まれるインフラ開発を担う総合的な人材育成であります。優れた技術を実際に活用するために、我が国は1000人を目標としてインフラについての技術、運転保守管理、法制度などに精通した人材育成を支援をしてまいります。
And one of those programs is a comprehensive development program for human resources that can become the vehicles of development of infrastructure, which is expected to face large increase in demand in this region. And in order to actively and actually make use of excellent technology in practice, Japan will provide support for the development of human resources that would have extensive knowledge of technology, operation and maintenance, legal systems, and others associated with infrastructure, and will be aiming at developing around 1,000 people.
もう一つは近年の災害の経験も踏まえた衛星を活用した ASEAN 防災ネットワークの構築です。我が国はベトナムとの間で人工衛星を活用した災害モニタリングシステムを進めておりますが、こうした取り組みを ASEAN 全体に拡大していきたいと思います。
The other program is building of a disaster prevention network for the ASEAN region using satellites, taking into account the experience that we have recently gained from dealing with disasters. Japan already has a system for disaster monitoring using man-made satellites with Vietnam. And we wish to expand this kind of program to the entire ASEAN region.
3つ目の柱は持続可能な成長です。東アジア諸国は急速な経済成長の一方で、エネルギー需要の増加や電圧低下、無計画停電に伴う電力品質の低下、地球温暖化問題や大気汚染、水質汚染など新たな課題に直面をしています。
The third pillar would be sustainable growth. The East Asian countries, while enjoying rapid economic growth on one hand, are facing new challenges on the other hand through increase in energy demand, as well as deterioration in the quality of electric power associated with drop in voltage and unintended blackouts, as well as issues such as global warming, air and water pollution, and others.
先日の東アジアサミットエネルギー大臣会合において、エリアを中核としてエネルギー需給見通し、石炭の活用、電力インフラ改善などの分野で研究事業を進めることに合意をしており、 引き続き各国と連携をしてまいります。
The recently held EAS Energy Ministers meeting agreed to pursue research programs on energy supply and demand outlook, use of coal, improvement of electric power infrastructure, and others, with AREA playing a leading role. And we intend to continue to work closely together with the various EAS countries.
また我が国はスマートコミュニティの実現や水処理、リサイクルなど我が国の経験や技術を官民一体となって積極的にアジアに展開し、持続的な成長に貢献をしてまいります。
Also, the government and industry of Japan are working together to actively spread in Asia the experience and technology that we have in Japan for the creation of smart communities, for water treatment, recycling, and others. And through these efforts, we will contribute to sustainable development in the region.
これらの点を含め、日本と ASEAN の経済関係を強化するためには、官民で中期的なビジョンを共有することが重要であります。現在、日本と ASEAN との間では、経済界からの要望も踏まえ、今後10年間の経済戦略を描いたロードマップを策定しております。また、来年4月には、ASEAN10 カ国の経済大臣に日本を訪問していただくロードショーも計画しています。
In order to further strengthen economic relations between Japan and ASEAN, including the areas that I mentioned above, it is important that the government and industry share a medium to long-term vision. And currently, Japan and ASEAN is working on the formulation of a roadmap to draw up an economic strategy for the coming 10 years, taking into account requests we have received from the business community. And furthermore, in April of next year, we are planning a road show to have economic ministers from the 10 ASEAN member countries come and visit us in Japan.
このような取り組みを通じて、日本と ASEAN 双方の理解と経済協力関係が一層進化し、互いに経済成長を高め合うことを確信をしております。本サミットの成功と東アジア諸国のますますの発展を記念しまして、私の挨拶とさせていただきます。
I am sure that through these programs, Japan and ASEAN will be able to further deepen their mutual understanding and economic and cooperative relations, and I'm sure that we will be able to mutually elevate and push up each other's economic growth. Let me conclude my words of greeting, sincerely hoping for the success of this summit meeting and for the even greater development of the East Asian region and East Asian countries.
ありがとうございました。Thank you very much.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And before you leave the floor, we would like to extend a token of appreciation to you, Minister. To present this is Bapak Sofian Wanandi and Bapak Anangga Rustiono.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, and wish you a pleasant stay here in Bali.
どうも皆様お待たせをしました恐縮です。
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for waiting.
日本国の内閣総理大臣野田佳彦でございます。
Distinguished colleagues,
世界のビジネスリーダーの皆様に対して日本経済の今とこれからを発信する機会を与えていただきまして誠に光栄に思います。
distinguished colleagues, my name is Yoshihiko Noda, Prime Minister of Japan. It is a great honor to be able to present to you global business leaders today about the Japanese economy, where it stands now and where it is headed towards the future.
大地震災から8ヶ月余りが経ちました。日本国民は世界中からの温かい励ましに支えられながら 大震災からの復興を力強く進めています。被災地のインフラや経済も確実に立ち直りつつあり、首都圏を含めた被災地以外では震災前の日常が戻っています。また、製造業のサプライチェーンもほぼ完全に回復し、世界への供給責任を果たしています。
8 months have passed since the massive earthquake hit Japan. Japanese people have been making strong efforts for recovery, backed by generous support from all around the world. The infrastructure and local economy in the disaster-affected region are steadily being restored. Normal daily life has come back to areas other than the affected areas, including the metropolitan regions. Manufacturing industries have restored their supply chains and are fulfilling their responsibilities as global suppliers.
東京電力福島第一原発の事故についても、原子炉の冷却も順調に進んでいます。事故の収束は想定よりも前倒して進んでおり、もはや日本でビジネスを行う大きな支障とはなっていません。
As for the accident of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station of Tokyo Electric Power Company, the reactors are within a steady cooling down process, and the incident is being settled faster than we initially expected. In terms of business environment, the nuclear incident is not an obstacle against business in Japan anymore.
古来、日本人は危機に強い民族です。危機をてこにして、今、日本は新しく生まれ変わろうとしています。世界のビジネスリーダーの皆様に、この場をお借りして、2つのことを訴えたいと思います。
Looking back at the history of my country, I am confident to say that the Japanese people are strong in crisis. The Japanese are now trying to regenerate themselves by bouncing back from this crisis. I would like to take this opportunity today to appeal to you 2 points on the Japanese economy situation.
1つ目は、震災からの復興を進めるエネルギーは、我が国の経済成長を大きく後押しをするということであります。実際、IMF の予測によれば、2012年の日本経済は、先進諸国の平均よりも高い 2.3% の成長が見込まれています。中小企業の活力をはじめとする日本の潜在力を解き放てば、予測よりもさらに高い成長も可能だと私は考えています。
Firstly, the momentum produced by promotion of recovery will strongly push our economic growth. In fact, according to IMF's forecast, the Japanese economy is expected to grow by 2.3% in 2012, and this is higher than the average of advanced economies. I think we can achieve even higher growth if we can unleash the potential of Japan, such as the vitality of small and medium enterprises.
これは被災地に大きな復興需要が生まれるということにとどまりません。復興のプロセス、それ自体がイノベーションを生み出す大きな原動力になるということです。被災地が現在進めている復興は単なる復旧ではありません。
This is more than just a recovery demand after a disaster. What we are observing is the recovery process itself creating a powerful force that drives innovation. What we are promoting under the name of recovery is not merely a restoration of the past.
地域が持っている強みを生かし、農林漁業、再生可能エネルギー、医療など21世紀の成長分野で世界最先端のモデルを示し、それを実践することが復興の中心テーマとなっています。
The core of our recovery is to take advantage of the strength of local communities and harness them to implement cutting-edge growth models in growing industries such as agriculture, forestry and fishery businesses, as well as the renewable energy and medical industries.
政府としても大胆な規制改革や税制の特例を講ずる復興特区を設け、新設法人について法人税を5年間無税とするといった大胆な 投資促進策を準備中です。我が国は復興を共に進めるパートナーとなる内外の企業の投資を歓迎し、そのための環境整備を急ピッチで進めていく考えであります。
What is our government doing? We are preparing to create special zone for reconstruction in disaster-affected regions and implement bold stimulus policies to attract investment, which include exemption of all corporate taxes for newly established corporations for 5 years. We welcome investment from all companies, domestic and foreign, who can be partners to promote our new recovery, and the government is trying to create the right environment as fast as we can.
2つ目は、我が国は東アジア地域の一員として各国との絆を深めていく強い決意を持っているということであります。ダイナミックな成長を遂げるこの地域の経済統合のさらなる推進はすべての国の利益です。
Coming to the second point, I would like to emphasize that Japan, as an East Asia country, is strongly determined to enhance its bonds with each country in this region. In this region with dynamic economic growth, promotion of further economic integration will benefit all countries.
経済連携の強化は絆の証です。我が国は域内の人、物、サービスの円滑な流れを促し、企業のビジネス環境を整備するため、抜本的な国内改革を推進しつつ、率先して高いレベルの経済連携を進め、新たな貿易・投資ルールの形成を主導します。
I use the word bond. Reinforcement of economic partnerships is a testimony to such a bond. In order to facilitate the flow of people, goods, and capital in the region and create a favorable environment for businesses, Japan will press ahead with fundamental domestic reform and promote high-level economic partnerships, and will take initiative to formulate trade and investment rules of the next generation.
アジア太平洋自由貿易圏 FTAP の実現の基礎となる TPP 協定につきましては、我が国は交渉参加に向けて関係国との協議に入ることとしましたが、東アジア包括的経済連携構想 SEPIA、東アジア自由貿易圏構想 EFTA といった広域経済連携についても積極的に推進をしていきたいと考えております。このために ASEAN 各国とも引き続き密接に連携していきたいと考えております。
Japan has decided to embark on consultations with the countries concerned with the view to participating in the negotiations for the TPP, which serves as a basis for the realization of the free trade area of the Asia-Pacific, the FTAP. Japan would also like to promote regional economic partnerships, namely East Asia Free Trade Area, EFTA, and the Comprehensive Economic Partnership in East Asia, SEPIA. Thus, Japan continues collaborating closely with ASEAN countries.
また、先ほど行われた日 ASEAN 首脳会議において、我が国は ASEAN 連結性強化に向けた支援を官民一体となってより一層強化していくことを表明をいたしました。こうした取り組みを通じ、今後も ASEAN 諸国とともに成長していきたいと考えております。
In addition to that, I just expressed at the Japan-ASEAN Summit meeting that Japan will further strengthen its support toward enhancement of ASEAN connectivity through cooperation of both public and private sectors. Through such efforts, we would like to achieve growth together with ASEAN countries.
頻発する自然災害への対応に加え、大気や水の汚染、地球温暖化問題、エネルギー制約、食料価格の高騰など、この地域が共通で抱える課題は、今後の発展の制約要因になりかねません。特に東日本大震災やタイにおける洪水は、サプライチェーンにより日本と ASEAN の経済が一つであることを改めて明らかにしました。我が国は蓄積してきた技術とノウハウを活用し、官民が連携してその解決に積極的に貢献することを通じて、この地域との 絆を深めてまいります。
In addition to responding to natural disasters, the East Asia region is facing common challenges which could compromise future developments, such as pollution of air and water, global warming, conservation of energy, and steep rise of food prices. The Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami and the flood in Thailand revealed again that Japan and ASEAN share one economy through the supply chain. Japan will develop bonds with other East Asian economies by also contributing to the resolution of these common challenges through public-private partnerships, taking advantage of accumulated technologies and know-how.
日本の復興は東アジア地域との絆なくしてありえません。また東アジア地域の確かな未来は日本の貢献なくしてありえません。
Japan's recovery cannot be achieved without the bonds with the East Asia region. At the same time, the sound future of the East Asia region cannot be achieved without Japan's contribution.
日本経済は復興をてこにして再び力強く立ち上がり、成長の道を歩みます。そしてイノベーションを通じてより良き世界を作るための貢献を続けます。世界のビジネスリーダーの皆さんも日本の復興の歩みに参画いただき、ご一緒に東アジアの未来の扉を開いていこうではありませんか。ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Let me conclude this message by reaffirming that the Japanese economy will rise again by going beyond recovery towards growth. And through innovation, Japan will continue its contribution to create a better world. Distinguished global business leaders, I would like to invite each one of you to join us in a pursuit of recovery. Together, we will open the door to the future of the East Asian region. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. His Excellency Prime Minister of Japan, thank you very much indeed for sharing your keynote address here during this afternoon session. And for this, we would like to extend a token of appreciation presented by Bapak Sofyan Wanandi to His Excellency Prime Minister of Japan. And now we will continue with the ASEAN-Japan session. Chairing this session is Mr. Chu SengKok, Regional Managing Partner of Zico Law. And our panelist for this afternoon is Mr. Setso Iuchi, President of JETRO Thailand and Southeast Asia, Suparno Jasmine, Deputy Director of PT Astra International Tbk, Ms. Karen Agustiawan, President Director of Pertamina, and Bapak Arifin Panigoro, founder of Medco Group. Let us extend a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to our panelists. Do come forward to the stage, and I'd like to hand over shortly the floor to Mr. Chu SengKok.
Hello. Selamat pagi. Good morning. My name is Chu SengKok. It's of this particular meeting in terms of forging closer integration and ties between Japan and ASEAN, and in particular this session. My job as a moderator is like a good referee in a football game. The players will take the stage. I will just be invisible and set the rules. Each of the speakers we have discussed will speak for a maximum of 10 minutes. JETRO will share with you the experience of a very supportive public sector, if you like, agency of the Japanese government over the years in supporting integration within ASEAN. And specifically, he will talk about things that have been done and will be done by JETRO to support ASEAN. The Astra experience of a very successful and fruitful collaboration between Japan and ASEAN will be shared by Pa Suparno. And this is an example of how, if things are correctly structured and partnered, both sides end up in a very win-win situation, especially in the automotive sector, which is where Astra is. Ibu Karen will talk about an area that we know the Japanese institutions are very keen on, and which the Prime Minister has mentioned, which is renewable energy green. Ibu Karen will talk in particular about the green energy of Pertamina. Finally, Pak Arifin will talk about something very important and which sometimes is missed in the business summit, which is the people, culture, what we call the society relationship between the Japanese and the ASEAN community. And Pak Arifin has told us that his story is more, if you like, not really business, it's more how relationships based on helping each other through culture, sharing experiences will help to make business grow. So with that background, and hopefully also if we can finish in time, I would like to have 5 minutes or so for questions and answer, because one of the things I was told is there are many SMEs here, and maybe the perspective of the SME is also important to us. So without much ado, I ask Susan to start your talk. Yeah.
So could you show my presentation materials, please? Someone. Okay, thank you very much. My name is Iuchi, and I'm Chief Representative of ASEAN Southeast Asia, and as well as President of JETRO Bangkok. And as Prime Minister Noda and Economic Minister Edano already mentioned the current situation in Japan, and also further strengthening, with their vision about further strengthening ties between ASEAN and Japan. So I'll talk about, briefly talk about the business activities of Japanese industries here in ASEAN region and their prospect for the future. And next page, please. Yes. Let me just briefly introduce JETRO. It's a kind of government-related organization, and have been acting more than 50 years in this region. And its mission is to promote trade and investment, and between Japan and the rest of the world. But at the same time, its mission is to represent industries in each country. And we have 72 72 offices in 55 countries, and at the same time, 9 offices in ASEAN region. And Bangkok is one of the 3 largest offices in the world of JETRO, and as large as New York and Shanghai. That means how we put importance on this region. Next slide, please. And this shows the economic relations between ASEAN and Japan. And Japan shares 15% of the total foreign direct investment to ASEAN. And the figures in the middle shows that the number of members of Chamber of Commerce of Japan in each ASEAN countries. Thailand has the biggest, and it's more than 1,300, and it's getting more. And also Vietnam has nearly 1,000. And the total is about 5,000 companies. It's just number of companies of Chamber of Commerce. And as you can see in the footnote 2, it was 500 less in 2010. We saw increase of 500 companies as member of Chamber of Commerce in ASEAN countries in 1 year, just 1 year. And as for Thailand, we have more than nearly 4,000 companies in total. So it's just number of Chamber of Commerce, and more and more Japanese companies are coming to this region. And actually, many people are asking me about the influence of flood in Thailand, how it will affect the reallocation of Japanese industries in this region. Well, I basically say that most companies will stay in Thailand because it has still good, strong points such as supporting industries and the labor force and good location and so on. And I'll touch upon that after our presentation further. And next page, please. Well, it just shows the share of Japan in terms of trade with ASEAN, and Japan's the share is about 10% of all the ASEAN export and import, and all the amount is increasing. Next page, please. And in this region, it's an example of the auto part production. And Japanese industries have established a network of production, as you can see, in each country or each region, we have manufacturing sites of various kinds of automobile parts or electronic parts, and Japanese industries have utilized this kind of network. And of course, the flood in Thailand showed big impact on this network, but it's at the same time means that we have so deep correlationship of networks, production network in this region. Next page, please. And to facilitate this kind of business network or production network in ASEAN, Japanese industries have started dialogue with ASEAN Secretariat and ASEAN governments. Actually, in 2008, His Excellency Dr. Sring, or Secretary General of ASEAN, kindly proposed to us so that we will form a kind of aggregated chamber of commerce in ASEAN, and make some input into the ASEAN governments and the ASEAN Secretariat that should be duly reflected in the AEC, coming AEC. So we formed the Federation of Japanese Chamber of Commerce and Industry in ASEAN, called FJCCIA. And next page, please. So we started an annual meeting to discuss about the obstacles of for industries, not only for Japanese industries, but also for ASEAN industries and other foreign affiliated industries, and make some proposal for the ASEAN Secretariat and the ASEAN governments, each government of ASEAN region. And next please. Finally, we had come out with proposals, and we shared it with ASEAN economic ministers last July, I mean this year, in the fourth meeting of FJCCIA. And we raised some issues as listed here, according to the AEC blueprint. And for example, this A1 is about free flow of goods. And we made some proposals about like custom procedures or issues related to the utilization of AFT after, and also harmonization or rationalization of standards. One example is number one, exempt custom duty on returnable containers. Few people know that the returnable containers that can be used many times to carry auto parts or electronic parts is levied duty each time they enter the other country. Well, that's ridiculous for, from the viewpoint of industry, but a few people know that in the high-ranking people. So we raised this kind of issue, and for example, Malaysian government quickly responded to it and abolished it, the duty for those returnable containers. And we hope to see more and more governments will introduce this, abolish this kind of duty. So it will reduce the cost of trade among ASEAN countries, and promote more business here. Next page, please. Next page. Yes, next one is about the ASEAN Blueprint C towards a region of equitable economic development. We hope to see more development of hard infrastructure like SEZ, deep sea ports, economic corridors, and so on, as well as facilitation of trade and investment in terms of the border procedures more simplified or efficient border procedures. Next page, please. In that sense, this is a map of development of key hard infrastructure in Mekong region. We see many roads, construction of deep sea ports, construction, and so on. But there are still some missing links. So, for example, from the southern corridor, we call it southern corridor from Ho Chi Minh City, Phnom Penh to Bangkok. But after that, we have no big road from Bangkok to the west. And please look at the next page, please. Next page. Yes, and this is one of the hot issues, so-called Dawai project. It will construct a good corridor from Mekong region to the expanding market in India. Like in Chennai, there is more and more accumulation of automobile industries, and of course, Bangkok area has a long history of automobile industries or electronic industries. So there's a good corridor that will become a good corridor for the ASEAN countries toward the west, so-called west. I would call west, India or Middle East and African countries. And at the same time, it will support the development of Myanmar in economic term by introducing various industries like parts industries or garment industries or industries based on natural resources that Myanmar has. And we are very glad to see political reforms and economic reforms going on in Myanmar these days. And next one, please. And third point is about the expansion of FTA, EPA things. And we should take effect of all the FTAs. ASEAN, of course, ASEAN is in the center. But at the same time, there are many FTAs centering ASEAN, and we want to, industries want to utilize all those FTAs by making a good network, efficient network. And so we need kind of harmonization between those FTAs. And at the same time, integration and merging of those FTAs should be considered. For example, as I listed in number 3, there is Japan-ASEAN EPA, and at the same time, there is ASEAN-India FTA. And if those FTAs will be merged or integrated more, or should be made more compatible, we'll see more expanded market in this region. And the next page, please. So it shows that how more and more companies will come to utilize those kind of FTAs if those FTAs will be expanded to ASEAN++. That means ASEAN +3 or ASEAN +6 and further. Then more and more companies will utilize those FTAs by constructing more advanced network. So final page, please. So my message is that Japanese business society, as well as other business society, I hope, they hope to see a strong, hope to see and support realization of AEC as a citizen of ASEAN, and we want to see more reduced barriers for trade, investment, human movement, and so on. And the next thing is to so that business can work more efficiently. We want to see each government of ASEAN countries and ASEAN as a whole will reflect industry's request in related plans and discussions. And we will follow up our requests to ASEAN Secretariat each year ask for each government to realize those issues. And finally, we want to see the expansion of economic relations in terms of ASEAN plus FTA or expanded hard infrastructure like the Hawaii project, and at the same time enhance the connectivity, institutional and in terms of infrastructure too. That's our message. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we move. Yeah. Thank you, Susan. Now, having heard how the Japanese, if you like, government sector looks at how it wants to expand trade in ASEAN through JETRO and other organizations, I think it's right now that we move on to hear the actual experience of a company in Indonesia, which represents ASEAN, and how it has successfully partnered Japanese companies and basically become a very dominant player in the automotive sector. Pak Subano.
Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, my presentation would be from the private sector perspective, business sharing from the ASRA, which have many and long-term relationship with the Japanese partner. ASRA, in brief, established in 1957 as trading company, listed in Jakarta Stock Exchange since 1990, with an asset of $17 billion, equity $8 billion as 30 of September. Market capitalization up to 30 of September is $29 billion, and we have 6 business group with 145 affiliated company and more than 145,000 employees. The 6th group that ASRA have, number 1 is the automotive. We have 6 brands of the automotive that cooperate with the ASRA: the Toyota, Daihatsu, Isuzu, UD Truck, and then 2 European brands, the Peugeot and BMW. And we also having a cooperation with Honda, the motorcycle, and we have a group of the ASRA Autopart, the component company integrated in this ASRA Autopart. And we also having financial services. We having the heavy equipment and mining. We cooperate with the Komatsu from Japan. And then we also having the business, agribusiness, information technology, cooperate with the Fuji Xerox. And then infrastructure, we build toll road. We have a running water company. And we are also having the rental company. Shareholder is from Jardine Cycle and Carriage, and then we're also having the Toyota Motor Corporation as our shareholder. The rest is the investor and then the public. Long relationship with Japan. ASRA as a strategic partner, we have a long relationship with Japanese business partner. We start 97 as a manufacturer and importer and distributor for Toyota and Honda motorcycle. And then in the year 1972, United Tractor as exclusive distributor for Komatsu heavy equipment. In 76, we cooperate with the Fuji Xerox. In 78, we cooperate with Daihatsu as manufacturer and sole distributor. 87, we manufacture and sole distributor with UD Nissan diesel truck. And then in 1996, we manufacture and sold for Isuzu vehicle. And in the year 2004, we established financing company for Komatsu heavy equipment. And in the year 2006, we established Toyota Astra Finance for financing a vehicle for Toyota and Lexus. Along the year of 1972 up to 2002, we have many partnerships with Japanese in component business, such as GS Battery, Denso, Kayaba, Akebono, Aisin, and Toyota Gosei. ASRA and Japan investment in ASRA. Investment of ASRA Japan Joint Ventures Company is reached almost $4 billion, with the biggest investment in the automotive business, 4-wheeler, 2-wheeler, and component. It consists of about 91%. The future investment. The investment into automotive industry is growing fast in Indonesia. Indonesia has a production base for 4-wheeler. In September, when Akio Toyoda came to Indonesia and then meet with His Excellency President Republic Indonesia, Toyota will invest 337 million to build new factory in Kerawang and Cibitung, planned to start in operation in the year 2013. And Daihatsu also would invest another 400 million to expand capacity, build new factory in East Kerawang, planned to start in the year 2012. If we see the capacity of the Toyota, Daihatsu, Isuzu, and then the Honda motorcycle, currently the capacity for the Toyota is 110,000. It will be expanded into 180,000 in the year 2012. While Daihatsu, this year we already increased the capacity 100,000 to become 330,000. But next year, again, another 100,000 to become 430,000 units. And then Isuzu, from the current capacity, 13,200, will become 20,000 units in the year 2012. For Honda motorcycle, this year, we already add on with the 1 million additional capacity to become 4,300,000 units. And then the eco-friendly car, what so-called low-cost green car, will be introduced in the year 2012. And then we understand that the government has recorded Daihatsu, Suzuki, and Nissan as manufacturer.
Basically to talk with Astra. If you look at 2010, the biofuel consumption is still very small. By 2030, the biodiesel will be 9.8 million kiloliters, and the bio-premium will be 10.6 kiloliters. In 2040, this will be the other way around. The biodiesel will be 60%. We do have a research and development center in Pertamina itself that for the first year, the first wave will be using the 1G technology. The second phase will be still using 1G while proving the 1.5G technology. And this will incorporate until the 2G platform. Now, I think automobiles industry, we also need to be very aligned on this, you know, because this is also something that trying to reduce the use of oil and gas. This is the biofuel rollout plan as well for Pertamina for 2010. We like to start in Java, Bali, and partial in Sumatra. We've done that in 2010, 2011, and 2012. It's the whole Java, Bali, Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi will be partial. By 2014, all majorities areas in Indonesia should be converted into a bio. The plan is, of course, for industry, also transportation, and we do require a synergy with our state plantations. Please bear in mind in the last slide when I state about the consumption of 20.5 million of using biofuel, that does not take account of the public transportation, because we do assume that by 2030 all public transportations will be using gas. And also this does not take account that we do have initiatives on coal to liquid to help fulfill the energy demand of Indonesia. Now the areas that I see for collaboration in ASEAN will be something of a substitution of first for the household, which is for the LPG. Now, right now we are using LPG, but that can be substituted by DME. We have not have a DME plant yet in Indonesia. The second is, of course, adjustment to the engine specifications, especially by industry automakers, to be able to accommodate biofuel productions, flexible fuel vehicle. And number three is, of course, a joint venture development in green diesel plant. Now, in green diesel plant, this is where the SME could fit in, because we are not going to get into the plantation side of business. Number four, which is something that I like to get started in Asian countries. I have spoken this in the World Economic Forum, which is the algae-to fuel technology. It is already proven, but the scale, economic scale, is not there yet. So I think we need to to make some restructuring of how it's going to be market for the consumers. Number 5 is, of course, the joint research to develop lignocellulose-based biofuels. Number 6 is investment in non-competing feedstock plantation. We are not going to compete with, for the food, because food and energy are two both very critical. So we like to be able to invest, inviting investors also to do a collaboration with us on jatropha, Quercus, and Calophyllum inophyllum. So if anyone in the room that is interested to go on that route, then Pertamina is very open. And the last one is, of course, development of other alternative fuel technology, such as coal to DME. I think since we do have a lot of coal in Indonesia, something that we like to see coming, and also coal to liquid to substitute the diesel and also the premium. I think that is all that I have for my presentation. I'll leave it to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Karen. I hope those of you in the ASEAN-BIS pick up the message from Astra and Pertamina that there are opportunities to be available in collaborating with both these giant organizations. Now, from the hard business to the other side of the business part, that is the people, the culture part. Pak Arifin has told me that he's more interested to share what is necessary for business to succeed, also to understand the culture, the people-to-people link. So I would like now to invite Pak Arifin to address you on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I don't have anything for the presentation, so I just heard what the Prime Minister and the Minister and friends to talk, but at least I can share my experience. I've been more than 30 years, 35 years, have this say business relationship with our friend from Japan. Any business model, any format, starting from joint operation, they assist us in supply. We have, as a strategic partner, we start from the, I think my first project in 77 is Asahan, Sumitomo. And then now our business is on the oil. Also, I have a strategic partner. I can say that from all of the experience, one thing that we have to look at Japan, especially today, very, very easy example, because mentioned all the time by Prime Minister, the Minister, is the disaster. In August, last August, I've been there. I flew. I used Shinkansen from Tokyo and flew back from Sendai, from the airport. It was 5 months after the disaster. Disaster happened in March, and I used the airport, which is totally ruined. After 5 months, we can use the airport as usual. So when I look at what happened in this Tohoku, correct me, Tohoku, right? In Fukushima, this is something that we have to look. We talk about business opportunity, Indonesia and Japan. But what we have to see, we have to look at Japan, is their attitude. Because I can compare also the disaster in Tohoku with our tsunami in Aceh. I was involved also at that time. I think we have to, the more people can see the area, that's better. Because we cannot explain You have to go there. How serious, how the people, our friends from Japan, from the government, the civil society, even the military, they work together to make this recovery. And that Fukushima disaster is not only the simple one, it is including the issue, the problem of the nuclear. So I think this is why I mentioned, I said that, okay, Mr. Moderator, maybe I like to talk open, but more on the attitude. If we look at Japan, let's look what they are doing on the process, including on the business. In the business community, what we have to see from Japan, the way they start the business. And again, from my experience, they are really, yeah, it's proven already. Japan once become #1 or second after United States. And from Astra experience, they have a very good experience. Look at Japan. I have another story when we talk about this green energy. There is an area in east part of Indonesia, is in South Papua, in Merauke. If we look at Merauke, it's about 10 million hectare area, as big as Java Island. When I talked to our Japanese friend, they said that we have the same experience back to 1970s during the very famous Prime Minister Tanaka. They went to Brazil at that time. Together with the Brazilian, they developed the same area, start from scratch, and you can see now Brazil. They are #1 in sugar, #1 in soybean, #1 in so many. Now we talk about crisis. Even Ibu Karen said, I am afraid there's a rivalry between green energy and food, which is yes. Because if you talk about development of sugarcane, the output is dual output. They can produce sugar, they can produce ethanol. So which one? I always mention, let's do it 50-50, 50-50 program. Because if we talk about area for these kinds of development, I think Indonesia is second to Brazil. And again, back to our topic, it is Indonesia, Japan. Japan, when they look at Brazil development in the 70s, and then after that, like a gentleman from Jetro mentioned about Mekong. But now I think some area, including I think the biggest one is in South Papua, will become something that we can develop together. The experience, the capacity from Japan, and I think Indonesia, since we have this opportunity, we have to look at that. But again, there's a business opportunity and many to come. And company like Astra can show what kinds of link from Astra as the corporate who lead in the automotive and then continue with their outsource program to a smaller company for their parts. And then also Pertamina. Pertamina and Indonesia, Japan, energy demand is proven is more than tahun 70. Yeah, more than 40 years, maybe 50 years. Indonesia, Japan. We, Indonesia, sell our oil mostly to Japan, and then LNG. We are the biggest LNG producer, also the buyer is Japan. But now, I think the situation is dynamic change, our population growth, but also the capacity of Indonesians change. So I think what, again, I like to see people to people. Let's look at Japan. It's not only the business opportunity. Sure, we have to dig more, but also we like to learn, and we invite Japan to show us what to do. And I told you that one example is how to solve the disaster. Before this Fukushima disaster, they have the famous one first is Kobe. Kobe earthquake become a reference in the world, what to do, how to solve the disaster. So when in Aceh we have this tsunami, the doctors, all of this team, the rescue team use Kobe as a reference, Kobe disaster. So again, for comparison, let's talk on sport. In the 50s, we are #1 in Asia in football. Today, #1 in Asia is Japan. Not 1 year. It takes 30, maybe 40 years to become the #1. And more than that, the ladies. Ladies soccer is #1 in the world. Japan. I like to talk about sport because we have SEA Games now. Even yesterday we lost, but we still come in semi-final. But I'm glad because I'm responsible for golf and I got 2 goals yesterday, so I'm happy. Again, on all of this attitude of people, I think to our friends here who like to see what we can get from Japan. Sure, the business, the assistance, the financing, even government to government, they talk on this infrastructure, it's fine. But more than that, very important for us, Indonesian, we have to look at that to our friend. Sometime during war, we said that, saudara itu apa sih? Old brother, big brother, in cynical. But let's look, they have more experience. Let's learn from them. Thank you.
Terima kasih, Bapak. What a wonderful way to wrap up our session with this pearls of wisdom. I have maybe around 5 minutes or so from some questions. If people in the audience, I think there should be some microphones around. If you have a question, please identify yourself where you're from and identify yourself and where you're from. Any questions so far? Please. Yes, please. On the left there.
My name is Sri Pramani from University of Adelaide. And if we're talking about the green economy, I guess there's one thing that probably the panelists haven't mentioned, and it's related to what the UN Secretary General talked about, which is about the development challenge. The issue that I mentioned, that I meant to say, is the removal of fuel subsidies. I mean, that obviously will decrease the competitiveness of, let's say, Indonesia. I mean, and that's also an issue in other emerging countries, including China. And I mean, we've heard a lot from the supply side that, you know, and I'm really glad that Astra, you know, has done something to find a green car, and then Pertamina also works on the biofuels. But without the role of the governments, it is difficult to create such a green economy, because then the government also needs to control the demand side by removing the fuel subsidies. And I just want to hear what is your perspective? What do you think the impacts of removal of fuel subsidies. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I'll ask Ibu Karen and maybe Pak Suparman to also talk.
Thank you. This is a very political question that I don't think I'm the right person to answer. But this is my perception on green. It is going to be very challenging when we still have the fuel subsidy. We all know that. But at least our government is starting to realize that it's not just green, but we do need to have an incentive of a cleaner air that we breathe. That needs to be incentivized. Now that has not been taken account. So it's not just a reduction of using bio is more expensive than using natural fuel, but it is about the clean air that we breathe. Now we are starting to talk with the government, on how we should be incentivized on making a better and cleaner air. That's from my side. Apart from that, I think we do understand that the subsidized fuel will need to be gradually decreased by year 2015. That's from the, if you look at my, on the roadmap of biofuel initiative from Pertamina, that is our target. I think we need to work very closely also with the government that hopefully by 2015, the subsidy will gradually decreases. That's my only hope. Thank you.
From the automotive industry, I think the challenge for the issue of the green is that we would like to participate in developing of the low-cost and green car. So how we can improve the technology of the car so the car become more efficient in the fuel and then more green. And then as already covered in my presentation, that in the year 2012, we are going to launch a low-cost green car. And I think I agree with Ibu Karen that the government need to give an incentive, not only for the I think it's give incentive for the automotive industry as well. It's like in Japan, 1/3 of the car sold in Japan is what's so-called as a K car. K car is with a small engine, 660 cc, with a compact size. So the resources that needed to build a car is limited, and then the fuel consumption is also would be also limited. Then I think if this incentive can be provided by the government, then the automotive industry can go faster in terms of the creating a more green and green car. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other question? I think I have one more. Okay. Thank you. Gentleman on the right there.
Thank you. My name is Bahrul Hairi. I'm from the Ministry of Trade. My questions will be addressed to Mr. Setsuo Ochi. You have shown us in your presentations about the spaghetti bowl, which is the connections of the FTA's ASEAN with other countries. My questions will lead. What will you advise the Japanese companies in the context of the ASEAN economic integrations in the 2015? Because on the government side, we have already put in place the format of the trading systems. We have the ASEAN-Japan FTA. Especially with Indonesia, we have Indonesian-Japan economic partnerships. And now, last week, Japan is already committed also to be one of the TTP. In this context, what can we do more in order to boost the trade between ASEAN and Japan in the next 5, 10 to 15 years to come? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your question. As you know, more and more Japanese companies are looking at this region as the business base. and some of them are moving their division headquarters to this region, even from Tokyo, for example, from Tokyo to Singapore, or from Tokyo to some other places like Bangkok. And that's because of the shrinking market in Japan, and as well as the appreciation of yen value, and also the expanding market here. And so naturally more and more business will come to this region to benefit from the expanding market here. But at the same time, I think as the ASEAN as a whole will become more and more, as ASEAN as a whole will become more efficient, the more business will come in terms of the base for exporting to other regions like India or to Europe or the United States and so on. At the same time, as you mentioned, Japan has announced that they will start consulting with TPP. That will make the market for the Asian companies much broader, including from the east, from India at the east to the North and South America in the east. So I think Japanese business will look at this region as more and more as a base for the regional core of the business. And we want to see less and less barriers among ASEAN countries so that they can enjoy a scale merit in this region and make their business activities more and more efficient. Am I answering correctly also? No.
I'm conscious that we are half an hour past. Oh, one more last question before we have lunch. Yeah. Tutup. We are past the time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not something I would like to. As a moderator, I have to listen to the organizers. Thank you very much, panelists. Thank you very much. I wish we had more time, but you know, thank you very much for all of you, and give them a round of applause.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, distinguished panelists. Before you step down from the stage, we would like to hand over a token of appreciation. Bapak Sofian Wanandi and Pak Anang Garusdiono.